Hello everybody and welcome to the final day of CLIA Australasia's 2025 Ocean Debut Virtual Showcase. Without further delay, let me welcome our very last speaker for this year's showcase. It is time to hear all about the largest new ship that is due to debut in 2025. Please join me in welcoming our first presenter, joining us from Royal Caribbean to tell us all about their next icon, Star of the Seas. Welcome, Head of Retail Sales, Nicole Stoich. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, Marita. Thank you so much. It's so good to be here and to see you all. I can't wait to go through our new baby, Star of the Seas, today with you. So, Star of the Seas is our next icon ship. So she does have a sister. Icon of the Seas was launched this time last year, so just on 12 months ago in January 2024. I will be running through the presentation today on Star of the Seas, but she does have a lot of similarities to Icon of the Seas, and I was fortunate enough to sail on board, so I will share some of my personal experiences with you on board and some of my key highlights of this class of ship and this new way of cruising for us, because she truly was quite a new design. Now, moving on to the next slide, I will start with a video first.
We about to level up. About to level up. Level up.
So she truly is an exciting class of ship and new ship to our fleet. Star of the Seas will debut in August 2025 this year, so only a couple more months until she joins us officially, and she will sail from Port Canaveral. The exciting thing about Star of the Seas is every itinerary that she sails on will go to our perfect day at Coco Cay. And so I will just touch on a slide at the end on perfect day Coco Cay, but here is an example of her itineraries from Port Canaveral, whether it be an Eastern Caribbean or a Western Caribbean. So these are all 7-night sailings. And on the next slide, you'll be able to see on our Star of the Seas, all of her facts and figures. So she is our second icon class of ship. She's 250,000 gross tons, and with her total capacity, she takes 7,514 guests. Now, it sounds like a lot of guests, but you can see from this image on the side how big she truly is. And what we've done with this ship is divide her into 8 different neighborhoods. So the 8 neighborhoods are very important on board, because what that means is we have passengers going to different neighborhoods that suit them and what kind of holiday experience that they want. We have a total of 20 decks on board, and she is our third ship in the fleet to be powered by LNG. So Icon being the first, and then Utopia, and now Star of the Seas. So moving into her neighborhoods, as we call them, we have our iconic chills. Now, iconic chills is our pools on board. So we have 7 pools on this ship, so more than enough pools for everyone to enjoy something different. This is our best pool for families. On our Surfside neighbourhood, which is where we have a dedicated neighbourhood for children and smaller kids, we have Water's Edge and Royal Bay. And this is perfect for mum and dad to sit by, have some lunch, maybe have a cocktail and watch the kids play fully supervised with lifeguards in the Water's Edge and have the time of their lives in this dedicated area for families. Our next pool that we're looking at on the next slide is our relaxing pools. So we have the Cove, Cloud 17, and of course our suite class guests also have their own pool on their sun deck. So you can see here this pool's a cantilevered pool over the side of the ship with incredible views and more than enough space for everyone. On the next slide, We have our adults only pools. So if kids are off in kids club and mum and dad want to go and enjoy, we have the hideaway and swim and tonic. So the image that you're seeing here is the hideaway. It's at the aft of the ship, the very back of the ship. You can see the glass behind the people of the pool. So you have the absolute most incredible view that you could imagine. And then you've got that seating over in the back there, which is exclusive for adults only. Now, having a look at our thrills neighbourhood. So this is probably one of my personal favourites. We actually went on the water slides on day one. The first thing we did was we got changed into our swimsuits and we headed straight for Category 6 water park. So it is the largest water park at sea with 6 water slides. You can compete. So my husband and I raced down the water slides side by side. I won, of course. And then you can also have the floor drop out from underneath you or sit on big inflatable tubes going through this water park. And then we also have the Crown's Edge, which is a new feature for this class of ship. And this is where you have an obstacle course. You've got a harness around you, as you can see from this photo, and you step through the obstacle course onto a floating plank, a plank that's actually hanging off the side of the ship. So if you look straight down, it is the ocean. And you would have seen in the video in the beginning a sample of this, and he was flying through the air. So the plank will disappear, or they release it from under your feet, and you'll actually be released by the harness and swing back around back onto the side of the ship. I can tell you it is a thrill for sure. And if you look on the next slide, this is me absolutely terrified. I'm so glad I did it. It was a lot of fun, but I'd be lying if I said in the middle of the night where it was dark that I wasn't slightly scared, and it definitely got the adrenaline pumping. You can also see the water park here. So this is from the deck Category 6 water park and all the different water slides that we do have, and my husband coming down at the end there, which was a lot of fun. On the next slide, we do have a big thrills for littles. So in our littles area, we have the Splashaway Bay and Playscape. So this is where they've got their own little water slides. This is in Surfside again, which is for the smaller kids, and a little slide over in the background, the yellow bucket that tips up with water. So a nice little Splashaway Bay play area for the kids. And on the next slide, you can see we, of course, have our fleet favourites for thrills. So we have our Adrenaline Peak, which is our rock climbing wall. Fun fact, every single one of our ships has a rock climbing wall on board. We also have the Flow Rider, Lost Dunes, which is our putt-putt golf on board, and of course the sports court. So we have a massive basketball court where we have a number of activities, including the very famous new pickleball, which everyone loves to play. My personal favourite is the Flow Rider. I do love it. I have done some stand-up lessons. It's harder than she's making it look right here, but it is a lot of fun. Having a look at our iconic wows on the next slide. So we start with our Aqua Theatre. The Aqua Theatre is actually very different on this class of ship, and on Star of the Seas, she'll actually be at the forward of the ship like she is on Icon. It's in the heart of the Aquadome. So the Aqua Theatre typically on Oasis class ships is on the lower decks at the aft of the ship, and this is actually at the forward of the ship on deck 14. So you've got a 55-foot waterfall that's part of the Aqua Theatre, and the divers leap from 60 feet above. It is actually truly incredible to watch these shows on board, and we were very fortunate to watch on this slide the performers actually jumping into the pool, and you can see here on the side what the Aqua Theatre looks like and the size of that pool. So that floor is retracting. They have all sorts of performances in there, and they jump from that waterfall, which is just in the top of that picture on the right, which is truly incredible and something that is exclusive to us. On the next slide. We also have Absolute Zero. Now, this is the first, or will be the second, sorry, round ice skating rink that we have on board. So we do have ice skating rinks on board our Voyager class ships, Oasis class ships, and they've always been square. So we've actually changed them into being round, which means the performers can actually get more speed. We have all-star athletes on board. So we have ex-Olympic champions or performers. We have all sorts of different ice skaters on board, and they'll have a number of different shows that they will show through Absolute Zero, which is the ice skating rink on board. Plus, your clients can actually go in there and ice skate themselves when we don't have a performance, which is really cool. Having a look at some of our bars, we do have Lou's Jazz and Blues, and this is my favorite bar on board. It's an open air lounge in Central Park. Central Park is another one of our 8 neighborhoods that has real trees, butterflies. It's a beautiful location. It's on our Oasis class ships also, but you can actually sit outside and listen to beautiful jazz and blues and have incredible cocktails, and it truly is such a lovely place on board. Then we have dueling pianos, which is a lot of fun. So it's a high energy late night venue. So this is where you have 2 entertainers playing pianos and performing together. So they really interact with the crowd. If you want a certain song to be played, they will actually play that on there, and then they split the room into 2 sides and have almost like a competition of which side is the most engaged and having the best songs recommended. It is a lot of fun. The Royal Theatre, we are known for having Broadway style shows on board our ships. So the Royal Theatre is a 2-story theatre. We have our original Royal Caribbean productions, but we also have Broadway hits. So on this ship, we will have, on the next slide, Back to the Future. So we will have the official Back to the Future musical on board. Now, these productions go for the full time that you would expect in a Broadway show, 2 hours, and they have the full costumes. Everything is as per what the Broadway show will show. So it's really important for your clients on these productions to pre-book them before they get on board. If you have your clients going all the way over to the Caribbean and they're doing this cruise and it's, you know, a real key moment of their holiday and they get on board and they want to see Back to the Future, it could be booked out. So my advice is as soon as you make the booking and deposit, they have access to the pre-cruise planner and they start booking their productions on board because you can book these shows through the app. And then on Icon, I was fortunate enough to sit front row on the next slide for The Wizard of Oz, just to give you an example of the detail of the costumes. They were phenomenal. It was fantastic. I have a colleague at the moment who's on board another one of our ships watching Grease Lightning, and it truly is like being in the Broadway theatres. Now, another personal favourite, iconic bites. All the yummy things on board that we do have. So I will start with one of the differences to Icon. This is Lincoln Park Supper Club. So with Lincoln Park Supper Club, it is a Chicago-style soiree. It's an evening of 1930s inspired glitz and glamour. So they have live jazz in the restaurant while you have a multi-course journey. So you'll have wine, cocktail pairing with the food, and then they'll have music that even pairs with the meals also, and it will tell a story throughout the evening. It's very limited space. So again, if your clients are interested in something like this, unfortunately, I was unable to get in on the cruise that I went in on. You have to pre-book it because of the limited space. So highly recommend the Lincoln Park Supper Club, which we do also have on board Icon. Primed for celebrations, we of course have Celebration Table, Chops Grill, which is our favorite, and our Izumis that also has the teppanyaki, which is a lot of fun on board, and of course sushi. And then on the next slide, you can see all of our dining for families. So we have Base Camp, Surfside Eatery, and Surfside Bites, which are all in the Surfside area of the neighborhoods. And this is where they have kids targeted meals as well. With that one, I do want to also point out the Aquadome Market. So the Aquadome Market is something that's different. It's not located in the Surfside area. It's actually where the Aquadome is, up on deck 14. And so they have Greek gyros, you can get mac and cheese, you can get a number of different areas or items to eat, and they're all included and complimentary. So something to highlight about us is all of these are included in the fare. Iconic sips. So we also have a number of new bars on board. So we have 1400 Lobby Bar, Rye and Bean, Bubbles, and the Overlook Bar. So if we were to go on the next slide, these are some of the venues. So on the left, we have Bubbles. So Bubbles is a walk-up champagne bar, which is really like such a highlight for me, and it's also in Central Park. So if you're just wandering through Central Park and would like a glass of champagne, you can just head on up to Bubbles and get a walk-up champagne and then be on your way if you'd like. In the middle, we have Deserted, which is our milkshake bar on board, and you can get a number of different custom milkshakes, which are incredible. And on the right is the Overlook, which is where it's a beautiful, quiet bar. And if you're like me and love seeing that you're on the ocean when you're cruising, or your clients love seeing that they're on the ocean, it's a perfect place to look at as the ship is sailing. Now, I did mention Perfect Day at Coco Cay, so this is our private destination, and we really carry that thrills and chills theme onto Perfect Day. So you can do a number of different things. In the middle, you can see the Thrills, which is the largest water park in North America. So we spent half a day there, which was enough time for us. And then we moved on to our tour of the island, where we went into Chill Island. You can see the hot air balloon in the background. So you can do hot air balloon tours. There's a South Beach area, which you can play beach volleyball, basketball, lay on a deck chair, or it's not a deck chair because it's actually on the sand, so it's a beach chair. And they also have little floating bars and things like that out in the ocean. Or you can head to our adults-only Hideaway Beach Club, which runs with the theme of Hideaway on board the ship. And this is the photo on the right, where you can see the ship just there in the background. It has its own beach lagoon. You have a massive private pool with a swim-up bar. People can rent cabanas. And the food and drinks, if you have a beverage package on board, you can use that beverage package on Coco Cay, and the food is included. In Chills Island, they had a massive on-land Windjammer buffet, which was really incredible, all included, so people don't have to rush back to the ship to get lunch and then come back on board, and it interrupts their day. They really can just do whatever they want while they're on land. Now, to put this ship class in perspective, her size into perspective, I mentioned 7,500 people. A lot of people say, oh my goodness, that's a lot. That's because we target families and have a lot of families on board. But on the left, you can see me standing in front of the ship in Nassau, and really her size difference to Celebrity Beyond, which is also a very large ship sitting next to her. That's us standing in Surfside. So they have a multi-story flamingo in the background, and this is dedicated to the children on board. So they've got, you know, a giant size Connect 4 in the background, lots of activities for the kids. And on the right, you can see Icon of the Seas sitting next to Vision of the Seas. So that's actually our largest ship in the fleet next to our smallest ship in the fleet, just to understand the size of her. So it definitely didn't feel crowded on board. And then last but not least, my personal favourites and some highlights that this class of ship and Star of the Seas will have. We do have on the left me with Rover. So Rover is the Chief Dog Officer on board Icon of the Seas, and we will have a Chief Dog Officer on board Star of the Seas, and her name is Sailor. So she's going to have a little friend, Rover and Sailor. So Sailor will be on Star of the Seas. In the middle, we have me showing the $100,000 gold goblet. Now, if you purchase this, you get a drinks package for life, which is really cool. So they are in our bling store, our Royal Bling store on board, and you can see our President CEO there, Michael Bailey, and he's holding the goblet there with his throne on board the store. You can actually also, for people like me and who are royal loyalists, buy crown and anchor bracelets, earrings, pins, a number of different things that are definitely affordable for you to really capture that holiday and continue to love the brand. And then lastly, one of the reasons I wanted to work at Royal is because we have a full-size carousel on board some of our ships. And so this carousel looks a little different to Oasis class. I'm riding a flamingo, but honestly, it is so much fun. And that's our surfside area that I did touch on, which is unique to this class of ship. Now that's everything that I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. We can't wait to have your clients on board or you on board. If you would love to come and cruise, we would love to see you on the ships.